welcome back to the channel. As you can see from the title card, today's video is the first part in making the Celtic Weave bag. Now you can find video instructions on how to do the stitch online, but I've actually worked out how to do it as a continuous pattern, so not just side to side, we're going to go around. So this video though is showing you how to use these things. These are the bag bases that you can buy online, and this is going to be the bottom of our bag. So this video is just talking about these, how to get yourself set up, how to pick your yarn, and I'll be giving you the first three rows. Yeah, it's 3 rows, and how to pick the right hook size, and a really neat way to do the joining, which is usually a trouble when you're making bags, to figure out a neat join, and we have got one. So before we get started, if you could like, share and subscribe the video, that would be a real help. It allows more people to see it. I see a lot of people watching these and you're not subscribed. It does help, and it's free. It helps out the channel quite a bit, so if you could do that, that'd be great. And also this video will be in 3 parts. So the first part is the picking the yarn and using the pieces, bag pieces. Second part will be the actual body of the bag, and then the third part will be finishing off and adding handles and straps. So I hope you stick around for all 3 parts. This one's a little bit of a shorter one because we're just getting started. For this video, I wanted to show you how to use these things. Just move these things up a little bit. So these are bag bases that you can buy online and in some stores. There's a few different kinds here. They're mainly used for handbags. You could make a small basket with this one and with this one, but they are mainly used for handbags. And also you can find wooden bases. They're usually made from MDF, but I have seen plastic ones, I've seen clear ones, I've also seen laser cut ones with designs cut out of them. So the principle is the same to use them, and so this video is the beginning of the Celtic bag series, but also just how to use these things. So I'm going to make a handbag, a small handbag, so I'm going to use this one, mainly because it's a quicker video. So I'll just move these out of the way, and I'm also going to use these handles. So I would pick that handle. I'll move that out of the way. Sorry about the plastic, but if I keep them in the plastic, they stay a bit pliable. I only take them out when I'm going to use them. So this handle, you get them in sets of 2. They aren't real leather. I haven't actually seen any made with real leather. I'm not saying they don't exist, I just haven't seen them. So you're going to pack of 2. So they're shoulder straps. They're not for crossbody bags. And you sew through, let's see if I can make it so you can see it. You sew through the little holes on your finished bag. So we don't need these until the end. And then these little guys here are the bases. Now these studs stop the bag from sitting flat on the ground. Like if you had a wet surface or something, it keeps it off the ground. I don't know what the metal is that they're made out of. I doubt it's gold. I'd say this is coated, and this is not leather. This is probably leather or something similar. It is stuck to whatever the middle is. So this is, I can't pinch up this, and then there is a stitch around the edge to cover the edge up. So the first thing you want to do is you want to find a crochet hook that fits through the hole fairly easily. Now, so that's a 4mm for this one. You want it to go through, you don't want it too loose, so this minimal effort to get it through. Okay, so that's what you need first. I like using metal hooks. I would not use a plastic hook or a wooden hook to make bags with these bases, mainly because the fabric that this is made out of is very grippy, and you may snap a plastic or a wooden hook. I mean, if you're confident, you go right ahead, but I'd rather use a metal one and not have to worry about it. Next thing you want to look at is what yarn you want to put into it. Now, I have a couple of different yarns that would work here. These are all cottons. This is a Bendigo Woolen Mills 200 gram ball. This is good value and good quality cotton. Every time I've used this, there hasn't been any knots or any joins, which is wonderful if you're making quite a big project. That would be well and truly enough to make this bag. And this is an 8-ply, which matches with this hook. You want your yarn and your hook to be either firm, like if you use this yarn with just the hook, not the bag base, it would make a fairly solid fabric, not a loose fabric. So if you tend to be loose, you want to go a hook size down, and you still want to do the matching up with the holes on the bag base. So yeah, that's your two things. The hook's got to fit through the hole and match the yarn you want to use. So far we're going good. Now this one here, this is what's left of a Lily Sugar and Cream in the big cones. This might be too thick. This is about a 10-ply, this one. I might try it because I'm leaning towards one of these with this colour brown. So I may try this one. We'll see. Other thing you can use is you can use like a printed yarn, but with the Celtic bag that we're going to be making, I probably wouldn't use a busy coloured yarn, if you know what I mean, not a variegated, or you could use an ombre, but you will see the turns on the rows. So I would probably not use this for this pattern. Feel free if you'd like to, but you don't want to do all the hard work and people can't even see it. And the other one I have is this big cone. Now this is almost macrame. It is still an 8-ply, but this is quite a coarse yarn. You don't want soft yarn. We're making a bag, and when I make bags, I try and make them so they're going to last a long time. So these are the ones I'm leaning towards, but other things you can use is that you can get this kind of stuff. Hopefully if I hold it up you might be able to see. It's like a knitted cord. Now this has got variegations, but they're very pale and they're like little sparkles, so I could use this. This is a little bit thicker than an 8-ply, so I'll pick some up. So this is more of a 10-ply. If you can read that language, that's what it is. It's just called cording when I bought it. So, and it is for handbags, but the thing is, it might be too thick for these holes. It would probably be fine with these bigger ones, but I'm not making that one today. That's more of a basket. Other stuff I have is this cordage. Now this also may have trouble getting through the hole. Let's see if we can get it through. Pull that off. Can't even pick it up. Yeah, see, that's really hard to get through. I probably wouldn't use this for these. So that's the main thing you need to figure out, is the right yarn and the right hook to go through the holes of the base that you've chosen. Now you don't have to choose these. You can, there's smaller, bigger, there's shaped ones, whatever you like. But we've figured that out now. So like, just as an aside, for this one, I would use a 7, which is what this is. But also check other brands. See, that's a bit too loose. So we would probably go to an 8 for this one because the holes are bigger. Anywho, done that. So I might start off with this one so you can see it. And so this is the Lily Sugar and Cream. So first of all, let's do a test. Pop that through there, pop that through there. Yes, comes through easily. So that's all good. Yeah, the first thing I want to do is, this is the bottom, because the little stud things are poking up. So you turn it over. So this will be the inside of the bag. Now hopefully there is an even number of holes. I'm going to take a punt and say there is. And due to the way the design is that we're going to be doing, I'm going to be starting this a different way. So first thing I'm going to do is wrap this around 3 times, 2 and 3. Any problem with working with a cone? It likes to travel. Alright, so that's given me approximately 3 winds, nearly 4. This is a technique that I saw online and I thought it's such a good idea. So I have not tied a knot. I have not tied a knot. Alright, so this is my tail yarn. And then what we're going to do is we're going to, if you can see that, let me just put the focus on a bit better. I have just pulled the loop through. There's no knot holding it. Pulled the loop through, and now we're just going to do surface chain stitches. First one might be a bit loose. So we're just picking up from below, pulling it through and pulling it through. Now what this will do, it will do 2 things. This will give us a nice edge on the bottom. It will also fill up these holes. So the next row is going to get tighter, but we want the very first row to be tight, and I'll tell you the reason for that in a bit. And this I've just learnt this recently. This is such a good idea. I will tell you when we get to it, but God, it was a good idea. I will have to find the lady I learnt it off and credit her, because it was her idea and I thought, oh my God, you're a genius. The worst thing about doing crochet bags is the joining, and it solves the problem of the joining. So I'm just chain stitching around. So what I'll do is I'll go away and do that, and I will come back and show you the trick with the tail. Alright, so I've gone all the way around, and I forgot to tell you why I'm starting where I'm starting. When I used to make these bags before, I would start here, and that would be my row end. But the problem is I was making them out of variegated yarn. It was a long variegation, but when you turn, it's very noticeable. So I found if I move my join to the side, people expect a seam or something like that there. So that's why I've moved it to the side. So we've got all the way around here. If you look at the back, it's all fairly plain. And we're on the last pull through before we finish. So that's that one. Now we pick up this. This is our tail, and we use that to pull through. Make sure I haven't done it too many times. There we go. And then we pull through. I have done it. That's why it's hard to pull through. And then we pull through that long tail. So we can tighten that up, pull that through, not too tight, want them to look all the same. That's the thing with doing these bags, you want all your stitches to look the same. And now, use your crochet hook to get under the first stitch, because it's cotton, it likes to split. Make sure you get all of it. I haven't got all of it. Let's go a bit more. Alright, we got under it. And now we pull this, straighten everything back up again, and then pull this back through, go up here, through there. Hopefully you can see that. So I've come up from underneath, through the last loop done with the other strand, and then pull that back through. And that is all you do. Just leave this hanging. And now that is the whole first row done. I'll show you the back. That's where this has come through. So we're ready for our first bit. Now, keep saying no, I'm sorry. I apologize. First thing we want to do is make sure we have the right string. Now each one of these holes, we want to, should show you that first. As we do each one of these, we're going to push down the stitch that's there, pick up a loop, and make a stitch, and we want 2 in each one. Now with the cardboard one, this is a lot more difficult to do, but with the like vinyl-y type one, it will stretch a bit for you, which is great. So I'm going to put 2 stitches in every hole, pushing down the chain stitch that's there. As you can see, there's 2 in every one. There's my long bit hanging out. With this, I don't know how big my bag is going to be, so I've got well and truly enough. If you're a good judge of how much yarn takes for how much rows, you only need a little bit more than the size of the bag you like to make. I usually go by twice the length of the base for the height of a bag. That way it's a useful size. So this will be like a little messenger bag. It won't be a crossbody because the straps are the wrong size. So this is all we do, but as you go around, you want to flatten out your stitches. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, if you look, I'm trying to make each one of these not have a twist on the front, because this is our outside. And we want to push down the chain stitches, pull up the stitch, and pull it through. Now, if you keep getting twists, that's all right. I'll show you how to do that. See how there's like it's twisting over? What you do is just pull it backwards and forwards a few times, and that straightens it in the hole. Now you see how that is? Now you can put more holes in, but our pattern is a even number start. So I don't know how many holes are on here, but if I do 2 in each one, I will end up with an even number, no matter how many holes there are. So that is all we'll do for that. So I'll just keep going around. If your shape that your base has sharp corners, make sure you put maybe 3 in each corner, because what we're trying to do is get off this edge, right? And if you've got a corner, you may need the 3rd stitch to get the corner covered. Like if I was doing this one, I'd be putting at least 3 stitches in this corner, but I've got 4 corners, so if I put an extra stitch in each corner, I'm still going to have an even number of stitches for the first row. So I will keep going around, 2 in each one, and I'll come back and I'll show you how to join this row. Just a little thing as I'm going along, if you're going through and you're picking up and it won't turn over, you can take the hook out, turn it to the way it wants to sit, and then put it back in. I'll try on the next one. I'll come up a bit closer so you can see. So we pick up our loop and we go like this a bit, just to try and flatten it out. Now it's working and I can't show you, but you can take your hook out. Other thing I want to say is, you will start to lean in the direction you're going, so make sure periodically to come along and pull your stitches back so they're straight up and down. We do want them straight up and down, okay? So that's just a little bit in the middle time. I will carry on with this and I will show you what to do when I come back. I've done that first row. Each hole has 2 stitches in it, 2 double crochets. I have got to the end here and I've picked up the 2 loops to finish it, but we're going to pick up the tail and pull that all the way through, then go under the top of the first stitch, pull this tail back through. I just love the way to do this. This lady was a genius. And then we go under this one, under, hopefully you can see this, under the back loop. There we go. And pull that through there. And that is that end finished off neatly. and we've still got more string left to go. You see how neat that is? You can't tell that that's our join. I love it. And this is the back. So you can see what the back looks like. Doesn't matter if we have little twists on the back because it's the inside. So the next thing we want to do, and this is the last row I'm going to show you now, because once we've done this row, we're on to the pattern, and that will be the next video. So to start this next row, we go under the 2 loops, pull up and make a stitch, and then do the same all the way around. 1 stitch in each one. I would put a stitch marker on that, but I don't happen to have one with me at the moment. So make sure you put a stitch marker on there, on that first stitch there. And we are just putting 1 single crochet in each double crochet all the way around. And what this will do, it'll get us off the bottom, and it'll make stitching so much easier. So just go under both loops, pick up a loop, pull it through, as you can see that. And we're just going to do that all the way around. Nothing fancy. Fancy bit comes next. And if you'd like to look up Celtic Weave stitch online, it is that stitch, but I figured out how to make it continuous. And yeah, the first row is the easy row. But this is not the first row. This is just our base building. So we're going to be pulling that over so we start on the actual bag. So I will go around and I will do this whole row, and we'll join it up again with our lovely lucky tail. So I've just finished that row, and one thing I also forgot to say, there's not a lot of yarn left on this sugar and cream. I'm just going to do it the size this yarn makes, with a little bit left over to sew things on. So if you know how big Lily Sugar and Cream, I've already made a bag out of this, so I would say it's just under half. Okay, forgot to say that at the beginning. So we've got to the last stitch, and now we want to pull through with our lucky tail. Make sure you pull everything tight so that that's the right one. Yep. So we pull through there, so that finishes that stitch. Pull it all the way through. We found some stitch markers, so we just take that out, put our hook through the 2 loops of the first stitch, like so. Make sure nothing splits. All right, bring that up so you can see it. So it's just under the 2 loops of the last stitch, and then pull that through, and then we need to pull it through here. Now this time, hopefully you can see, we want to go through the 3rd loop, so that is that one there. We might need to pull that out a bit, just so it's a bit bigger to get through. I'm going to go through the 3rd loop and the back loop, and then we pull that through, get it through. All right, done. Pull that straight, straighten everything up, and there is our nice join for that row. So that's all I'm going to be doing today. Make sure you don't cut either of these off, and in the next video we'll be start doing the Celtic Weave. That is your base ready to go, and I will see you on the next video.